A man you have never met just skipped a bag of chips at midnight. And because he did, a 400-ton jumbo jet is about to get a little cheaper to fly. No, that is not a typo. And no, he did not do anything to the plane. His name is Sam. He's losing about a pound a week. And without ever meeting you, Sam is reaching into your life and quietly rearranging it. Your grocery store, your favorite chips, the bar down your street, and yes, somehow that airplane. This is not a video about losing weight. I promise you it's about something much stranger. Stick around, because once you see how a single shot in one stranger's fridge can rearrange an entire economy, you will never read a headline the same way again. In the next few minutes, you'll meet 3 people. Sam, the man who took the shot. Val, who runs a snack empire that Sam is quietly shrinking. And the one person cashing in on Sam's willpower who you would never, ever guess in 100 years. And at the very end, I'll hand you a single question, 5 words long, that turns any piece of news into X-ray vision. Let's start with the pebble. Let's start with Sam. For 20 years, Sam lost every fight with his own kitchen at midnight. Not because he was weak, because of a thing scientists have a wonderful name for. Food noise. You know the voice. The one that whispers just one more cookie while you're brushing your teeth. For Sam, that voice never, ever shut up. Then Sam started a weekly shot, one of the ones you've heard of by now, Ozempic, Wegovy, that whole family, and the voice went quiet. Here's the actual trick, and it's beautiful. Your gut already makes a natural hormone whose entire job is to tap your brain on the shoulder and say, hey, we're full. Put the fork down. The shot is a near-perfect copy of that hormone. It slows how fast your stomach empties so you feel full longer, and it reaches up into your brain and turns the hunger dial way down. Sam didn't grow superhuman willpower overnight. He borrowed a hormone. And to be fair to the fine print, this is real medicine, not a magic wand. It's pricey. More than half the people on it say it's hard to afford, and it isn't for everyone. But for Sam, for the first time in 2 decades, the midnight radio is finally off. So Sam does the most boring thing a human can do. He eats a little less. That's the whole event. Roll the credits. A guy eats less. But watch what that tiny, boring change does the second it leaves Sam's body, because this is where it quietly stops being about Sam at all. First stop, Sam's grocery cart. The chips he used to inhale? Gone. The soda? Mostly gone. The cookies that used to vanish in 2 days now sit in the cupboard, long enough to go stale. Sam's cart got smaller and quieter, almost overnight. Boring little Sam just became a problem for some very large companies. Because here's the thing, Sam is not a rare bird. Right now, about 1 in 8 American adults say they're on one of these shots. Grab any 8 people, a full table at a wedding, and the odds are one of them is quietly eating less tonight. So don't picture one shrinking cart. Picture that repeated in every aisle in every town at the same time. One quiet cart is a curiosity. Millions of quiet carts all at once is an earthquake with a very polite face. An economist finally caught the earthquake on tape. Researchers at Cornell teamed up with a company that tracks what 150,000 real households actually buy week after week. What they found, once someone in a house starts the shot, that family's grocery spending drops about 6% within 6 months. 6% sounds gentle until you translate it. That's 1 full bag of groceries in every 20, simply never bought. And it's not spread out evenly. Zoom into the junk food aisle and it gets loud. Salty snacks, down about 11%, cookies, cakes, candy, all sliding off the shelf. It's a tide going out, and the very first things left stranded on the sand are the chips. Which brings us to Val. Val is not a villain. Val is a brand manager, and her mortgage, her kids' braces, her whole career, all of it rides on Americans eating one more handful of chips than they meant to. For 50 years, that was the single safest bet in all of business. Then one ordinary Tuesday, her sales charts start bending the wrong way. And it's not a recession, the economy is fine, people just stopped reaching for the second bag. When the biggest store on earth, Walmart, went digging, its own checkout data said the same thing out loud. Shoppers on the shots were buying slightly fewer items, slightly fewer calories, basket after basket after basket. Somewhere, a real-life Val looked at that chart and felt her stomach drop faster than Sam's ever did. Now you'd expect the story to just end there. Snack company, meet your iceberg. But here's the twist, because this is the move markets actually pull when the ground shifts under them. They don't lie down and die. They adapt fast and a little shamelessly. If people are going to eat less, then fine, we'll sell them the less. Nestlé rolled out an entire new frozen food brand. Its first big new brand in about 30 years. 12 tiny high-protein meals built for a shrunken appetite. Other companies started stamping the words GLP-1 friendly right on the box, the same way they once slapped on low-fat. The exact same snack aisle that is terrified of Sam is now racing to build the perfect little snack for Sam. If you can't beat the shot, you feed the shot. And the ripple just keeps rolling right past the grocery store and out the door. Because it turns out the shot doesn't only quiet the noise for food. 2 out of 3 people on it say they're drinking less soda. And more than 6 in 10 say they're drinking less alcohol. Some studies say a lot less. Scientists think the drug leans on the same craving switch in the brain that lights up for a cold beer. So Sam's little shot just walked down the block and pulled up a stool at the bar. Fewer beers ordered. Fewer bottles sold. A guy in a doctor's office in one town, quietly thinning out happy hour in another. Nobody planned that. Nobody could have. But every tide that strands somebody, floats somebody else. While the chip makers sweat, one aisle over, there's a party. Protein. See, when you lose weight this fast, you can lose muscle along with the fat. So doctors tell nearly everyone on the shot to eat more protein. And suddenly the shakes, the bars, the high protein, everything are flying off the shelf. One big protein brand watched its sales leap more than 40% in a single year off the back of this exact wave. Same country, same shoppers, same moment in time. One product drowning while the product on the next shelf is out there surfing. That's the part nobody warns you about with any big change. It never does just one thing. It quietly picks winners and losers you would never in a million years line up next to each other. Okay, so far, if you squint, all these ripples still sort of make sense. Sam eats less, so snacks fall, soda falls, beer falls, protein rises. Logical enough. But here's where it gets genuinely ridiculous, because the ripple did not stop at the grocery store. It did not stop at the bar. It kept going until it literally lifted off the ground. Remember our mystery guest? The one cashing in on Sam's willpower you'd never guess in 100 years? It's an airline. I am not kidding. Wall Street analysts actually sat down and ran the numbers on what happens if America slowly gets, let's say, 10% lighter. Lighter passengers mean a lighter plane. A lighter plane sips less fuel. And when you are flying millions of bodies through the sky every single day, a few pounds off each one stacks up into a genuinely absurd pile of money. One estimate figured America's biggest airlines could save somewhere around $580 million a year in jet fuel. Simply because the passengers weigh a little less. And this isn't some fringe theory, airlines are famously obsessed with weight. A few years back, United switched its in-flight magazine to slightly lighter paper and saved 170,000 gallons of fuel a year, just from thinner pages. So, picture the full chain. Sam skips a midnight snack in Ohio, and a year later, an accountant at an airline he has never flown, in a city he has never once visited, watches the company fuel bill tick down, and has no idea a stranger named Sam is the reason he's smiling. That, right there, is the entire point of this video. Because this thing you just watched Sam do, rippling outward, has a name. And once you know it, you'll spot it running underneath everything. Economists call them second-order effects. The old-fashioned version is even simpler. There is the seen and the unseen. Drop a stone in a pond, and everybody stares at the splash. The splash is Sam losing weight. That's the part on the news. But the real story, the money, the winners, the losers, the snacks, the beer, the jet fuel, That's all in the rings, spreading out quietly where nobody is looking. Most people only ever see the splash. This whole channel is about the rings, and that's your gift, the thing you actually walk away holding. From now on, when you hear any big piece of news, don't stop at the splash. Run one quick test. Ask 5 words. Who's the airline here? Meaning, who is the very last person on Earth you'd expect this to touch? Because that is almost always where the most interesting money is hiding. A new weight loss drug isn't just about health. It's about potato chips and jet fuel. A new law, a new gadget, a new habit. Every one of them drops a stone. The people who only see the splash just react. The people who quietly ask who's the airline, they understand. And every so often, they're the ones who profit. As for Sam has absolutely no idea he did any of this. He's not trying to shrink a snack company or dry out a bar or lighten a jet over Kansas. He's just trying to feel good and watch his kids grow up. He dropped one tiny stone in the water on purpose for himself. He will never once see the rings, but now you can. So here's the whole thing in a single breath. One stranger, one small choice, and an entire economy quietly rearranges itself around a change that nobody ever announced. That is this channel's whole obsession. If you saw my chip shortage video, you already know its twin. A price is never just a price, it's a message. Well, here's the other half. A choice is never just a choice, it's a stone. I dig up the invisible machinery that moves your money, and I lay the whole chain out where you can finally see it. So do me a favor, hit subscribe. The next time everyone around you is standing there gawking at the splash, you can tilt your head, look right past it, and ask the smarter question very quietly. Okay, but who's the airline? I'll see you in the next one.